So by the way, guys, I'll be recording this lesson just so you know. All right, and last one. Blood and so I sent that to everyone. Blood and peace. Okay, lots of people stuck on peace. Blood and body, blood and ties. Yeah, good. Blood and skin, blood and flesh, blood and bone. Okay, good. All right, so let's go back now to the presentation. All right. So this here you were just typing in the chat box. In the next section, I'm going to put you into little groups and you'll actually speak to each other. Okay. So yeah, you're going to do some introductions. So 3 pieces of information I'd like you to give each other. What's your name? Where are you from? And what is your favorite hobby? Okay. So if I were putting this in the chat, I would say, my name is Enrico. I am from Sydney. I like hiking and going to the gym. Okay, so I'm going to put you into small groups with 2 partners maybe, and you can talk to each other, or if you're a bit shy talking to each other, you can always type as well. Okay, so yes, I'm going to put you into a breakout room. We use breakout rooms a lot when we're teaching online. And then you're going to introduce yourselves to your partners. So just a moment while I put you into your groups. So I'll aim for about 3 people per room. Okay, so you'll get a little message asking you to enter a room. So just click yes. I'll jump in and out of a few of them just to see that you're talking to each other. Okay, I've opened up the rooms. You can jump in when you're ready. Okay.
楽しかったね。
Hi, Karen. Yeah, that's okay. If you have anything you need to say, you can write it in the chat. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, welcome back, everyone. So yeah, you got a little taste of how we use breakout rooms in class. Okay. So now, yeah, we've done our introductions and our kind of warm-up activities. Continue on. Okay. So yes, today we're looking at writing skills, academic writing. So, you know, in particular, we're looking at demonstrating writing ability. So if you're interested in a degree program, I think you guys are already at university. Yeah, you're obviously interested in the degree program. But in Australia, you might need to demonstrate your writing ability. So a common way to do that is through writing a formal essay. Okay, if you've ever done IELTS or plan to do IELTS, this would be similar to where you need to write an essay there. Okay, so yes, we're looking at writing and we're going to focus on writing formal essays. Okay, so the lesson plan for today, we're going to look at some of the differences between casual and academic writing, just some of the important ways that they're different. And then we're going to look at a model or an example paragraph, and we're going to try and correct what we're calling the academic register. So register is kind of like the style or the level of language that you're using. So when you're speaking with a friend, you're using one level of language, but if you have to write an essay at university, you're using a different level of language. Okay, so let's talk about academic register. So yes, it's important to use academic register in your academic writing. Okay, so register means the style of language you use, so just like I explained. Academic writing should be very formal. Okay, so therefore you're going to avoid any casual language. Okay, so casual would be when you're speaking with friends, texting, writing short messages. Okay, so let's look at some of the differences between casual versus academic. Okay, so below are some examples of, and by the way, if you want to take a picture of the presentation at any point with your phone or want to take a screenshot, feel free. Okay, so below we're going to look at some examples of common language that is too casual for academic writing. Okay, so some students, when they write an essay, they use the words good and bad too much. Okay, so instead, what words can we use instead of good and bad? Because if you always use good and bad, your writing becomes repetitive. Also, good and bad are very short, simple words. Anyone got ideas about other words we could use? So for example, good, what's another word we could use besides good? Okay, good, we got something in the chat. Okay, legitimate. Okay, talking about advantages, disadvantages, preferable, instead of bad, using incorrect. Okay, good ideas. Okay, that can cause problems, good. Okay, so yeah, it's good to use more specific adjectives to say how or why something is good or bad. Or if you have to use a general term, it's better to use positive and negative, okay? Just sounds a little more formal. All right, let's do another example. So Some other language that might be too casual for academic writing. Using personal language. This isn't that strict a rule. It depends on your teacher or professor. You might want to ask them. But yeah, when I was at school, we were told to avoid personal language. So personal language means using I, my, me. Okay. So instead of saying, in my opinion, or I will argue, what could you say instead when you're trying to say what the main idea of the essay is, or when you're trying to give your opinion? Okay, let's have a look. Okay. So from the point of view of, okay. Yeah, so you don't have to refer to yourself. Okay, is explored, is eliminated. Yeah, using passive voice, good. Okay. Yeah, so passive is good. And really, if you're making an argument in an essay, you want to use words that are stronger than believe, or something that just indicates an opinion. You want it to look like evidence and that you're making a conclusion based on evidence. Okay, considering, suppose that. Okay, good. So let's have a look at some alternatives. So yeah, leave out personal language, or change the sentence to the passive. So some other options would be, it is clear that, okay, if you're making an argument, or it will be shown that if you're saying what the main argument of the essay is. Okay. Good. So next, another thing we want to avoid are overgeneralizations. Does anyone know what overgeneralization means? Okay. All right. Okay, some people saying yes, some people saying no. So first of all, what's a generalization? So a generalization might be me saying Australia is a hot country. Okay. Yeah, you could say the average temperature of Australia is warmer than a lot of other countries in Europe or Japan, for example. But Australia is not always warm. Yeah, there are some cities, in winter it's going to be cold. It's going to feel a little bit cooler or colder. Okay. So yeah, generalization, you're saying something is generally true. And overgeneralization is when you make a generalization that is not very accurate. Okay. Let's look at some examples. Everyone uses social media these days. Okay, that's an overgeneralization. A lot of people use social media. Okay, but there are still places that don't have internet access. So it can't be everyone. People always use their mobile phone on public transport. Okay, it's a common thing for people to use their phone on public transport, but not everyone does it. Okay. So what could we say instead? So let's look at the first one. Everyone uses social media these days. How can I change that into a statement that is not overgeneralizing? All right, let's have a look. Okay, some people use social media these days, others do not. Okay. Yeah, if the main argument is we want to say there are a lot of people doing it, yeah, good, many people use it. Okay. And what about the next one? People always, okay, the younger generation, yes, so you can specify that younger people are more likely to use it, although now older people use a lot of social media too. The second one, people always use their mobile phone on public transport. Okay. What could we say instead? So again, we could say lots of people. Okay, people tend to use their phone. Good. Because always would mean every time you use public transport, you are using your phone. Okay, but if you say tend to, it means that it's something that is becoming more common or a lot of people do. Okay, it doesn't mean they do it every time, but they are likely to do it. Still got more. Good. People often use, okay. Yeah, you could say what situations they use their phone. It is common for. Yeah, good. All right, so let's have a look at some examples. Many people use some form of social media these days. Okay, and instead of people always use their mobile phone on public transport, I'd say it's common to see people using their mobile phone on public transport. Okay. Yeah, so one example here, I often see people use their phone these days. So there you're using personal language. So if you're avoiding what we call anecdotes, so just things from your personal experience, your personal experience doesn't necessarily show what is usually happening. Okay. So instead you might use passive. People can often be seen using their phones. Okay, let's look at another one. So another one is emotive language. Okay, so emotional language. So for example, cool or terrible. What's a word, or how would you explain cool if you were writing an essay? What other words would you use? So these are words that are fine to use in everyday conversation, but they're kind of too emotionally strong for an essay. Okay, magnificent, excellent, okay. Fascinating, okay. Yeah, it depends what your meaning of cool is. So if you're just saying cool as in, oh, I like this, then yes, you could just use a lot of positive adjectives. But if you're talking about cool as in something currently popular, you could say that, currently popular. What about terrible? What could you say instead of terrible? Okay. The worst. Okay, extreme bad. Okay. So yeah, we want a word that has a negative meaning. And again, terrible just means negative. So it might depend on the situation. So you might want to have something specific saying why something is terrible. Okay. But instead you could try in fashion instead of cool. Okay, or fashionable or popular at the moment. Terrible. Okay, instead you could say undesirable. Okay, because terrible kind of shows your feeling about it, but the essay is not about your feeling. Maybe you want to say that, oh, most people would not like this, so undesirable. All right, so now we're going to try and fix this paragraph. I'm going to give you a few minutes to read this. I encourage you to take a photo of the screen on your phone if you have it with you. Okay, but I'm going to give you 3 minutes to read this, and then we're going to go sentence by sentence and try and fix any problems with this. I'll just give you 3 minutes to read now. Take your time. If you're not sure of any vocabulary, feel free to look it up. Okay, so first of all, what is the topic of this paragraph? Does anyone know? Okay, healthy lifestyle, good. Obesity, yeah. Okay, lots of people saying obesity. Yeah, in particular, I would say it's good. Okay, so factors of obesity or causes of obesity. Okay, 2 reasons for obesity, good. Okay. All right, good. So yes, that is the main idea of this paragraph. So now we're going to go sentence by sentence and try and improve upon this. Okay, so we're going, in each sentence, we're going to find some examples of language that is not academic register. Okay, so we have firstly, everyone knows that if you do not exercise, you get fat. What's the problem here? What do you think might be problems here for academic writing? Everyone knows, okay, good. So that's an example of an overgeneralization. Okay, yeah, everyone. Okay. And anything else? Good. Get fat is casual. Yeah. So instead of get fat, you could say gain weight. Good. All right. Yeah, good. Yuka Yasuda. Yeah, it's a good replacement, gain weight. Okay, so the example that I have, so instead of saying everyone knows, you could say, firstly, it is commonly known that if you do not exercise, you may become overweight. Okay. Yeah, using you is a bit casual. In terms of personal language, usually people are more flexible with you than they are with I. But yeah, instead of using you, you could refer to people, or it's good not to always repeat people over and over. So you might say what type of people you're talking about. Okay. Good. But yes, I agree, Shunta, the Matsuyama, the you can be casual depending on who your teacher is. All right, then we have everyone has a busy lifestyle these days, and finding time to do sports and go to the gym can be difficult. Okay, so what's the problem here for academic writing? Okay, overgeneralization, again, using everyone. So what could we use instead of everyone? Okay, many people have. Okay, good. Many people have a busy lifestyle these days. Finding time to do sports and go to the gym can be difficult. Okay. A lot of people. All right, great. So let's have another look. However, if people do not take part in physical activities, it can have a bad impact on their health and lead to diseases such as cardiovascular disease. So Rentaro Konishi, I can see you've already identified bad. Okay, bad, bad, all right. So what can we say instead of bad? Serious, negative, okay, good. Yeah, how is it negative? What do we mean by negative? Like, why is it a bad thing? Because we want to try and be specific on how it is bad or how it is negative. Unhealthy, good. Yeah, because it's affecting our health. Okay. So unhealthy is a good word. One I have here. However, if people do not take part in physical activities, it can have a harmful impact on their health and lead to diseases such as cardiovascular disease. Okay. Let's take another look. So we all know that fast food is cheap and delicious, which is why everyone buys it. But this food contains a great deal of fat and lacks other important nutrients. Okay, so somebody said, good, Rentaro Konishi, you said we all, good. So we're using personal language again, we all know, yeah. Because again, it's an overgeneralization. All of us know this. Okay, so yes, personal language in we and overgeneralizing with all. Any other problems here? Any emotional language here? Cheap is a little, yeah, it is. Yeah. So you could say it, yeah, low in price instead. Delicious, yeah. Delicious is fairly emotional language. You wouldn't use that because it's kind of a person's opinion whether something is delicious or not. And really, it's hard to find an academic way to say that something is delicious. So, and in this case, I think it's debatable. Not everyone finds fast food delicious. So I would probably just leave that idea out. I wouldn't include that in the essay. Okay, but yeah, cheap, someone said having an affordable price. Good. Okay. Any other issues here? Everyone buys. Okay, so again, we've got an overgeneralization. All right. Oh, a great deal of? You think a great deal of is? I would say a great deal of is a little academic. The problem would be if you just said lots of. Lots of sounds, like you're speaking casually with friends. So a great deal of is more formal than that. Okay. So let's have a look. So instead of we all know that, we could just leave that out. We can just say fast food is cheap. Okay. And delicious, yeah, hard to include that idea. Sometimes considered flavorful. Still sound, even flavorful is still an opinion. Okay. Which may account for its popularity. Okay, so that is what this person was trying to say. They weren't saying, oh, it's delicious and cheap, that's why everyone buys it, because not everyone does buy it. Okay, but maybe those are reasons why fast food is popular, why people buy it. Okay. Let's have another sentence here. However, because of today's busy lifestyle, no one has time to prepare healthy meals at home, so they just eat fast food every day. No one, good. Okay, so that's an overgeneralization. Good. Okay, because some people do have the time. All right, any other problems here? Okay, we've got every day. Good. So yeah, every day is another overgeneralization. So do you know many people who eat fast food every day? I don't. That would be pretty unhealthy, I think. Okay, any other issues in this sentence? It's okay, it's just, yeah. Okay, so Kiko Sagunuma is just, yeah. So we don't really need this because the word just is used to make something sound less important or smaller than, it's when we're saying something is low significance. Okay, but it's used a lot in spoken English. It's not really used in written English. Healthy, yeah, you could use more complex language than healthy. Like generally, when you're writing an academic essay, you want to show that you have a broad vocabulary. Yeah, so you'll try not to repeat words, and you'll try to use less common words, okay, as long as they fit the context, so they fit the meaning. Okay, so instead of no one has, what can we say? Not everyone has. Okay, good. Okay, could say fewer people have or less people have. Many people don't have. Good. All right. Just, I think we can just leave it out. Eat fast food every day. What can we say instead of every day? Almost every day, frequently. Okay. May have no choice but to eat it often. Okay. Many times in a week, many times. Okay, good. So here's my example sentence. However, because of today's busy lifestyle, less people have time to prepare, or fewer people have time to prepare healthy meals at home, so they eat fast food more often. All right, good. Let's do one more. All right, so to conclude, in my opinion, a sedentary lifestyle and an unhealthy diet are two of the leading causes of obesity. In my opinion. Okay, good. Yeah, so the personal language. What can we say instead of in my opinion? It can be concluded that a sedentary lifestyle, yeah, good, Rentaro. It seems that, yeah. Although seems can also be untrue. Like the way something seems on the surface does not mean how it really is. So if you're trying to make a strong argument, you want to make it sound like there's strong evidence for it. Okay, it's often said, well, yeah, often when you're making an argument in an essay, it's not that it's often said, you might be going against the common view. Okay, so maybe you're kind of trying to convince people why the common view or what is often said is not correct. So you won't usually use that in an essay. It is true that the main theme, yeah, often we talk about themes in a book or themes in a movie. So it's a little strange to talk about the theme for an essay. Usually we just have the thesis of an essay. So the main argument. Okay, so let's have a look. So yes, in my opinion, so instead we could say, to conclude, it is clear that a sedentary lifestyle and an unhealthy diet are two of the leading causes of obesity. Okay, sometimes you wouldn't even need that. Like it makes sense if you just say, to conclude, a sedentary lifestyle and an unhealthy diet are two of the leading causes of obesity. All right, great. So let's see if you've understood the main idea in today's lesson. What's the main thing I was trying to teach you? Yeah. Can anyone put it into words? Academic register. Okay. So yeah, we were looking at the differences between casual and academic writing. And why is it important to know the difference? Any ideas? Why is it important to know the difference between casual and academic? Yeah, often academic language sounds more objective. Okay, so it's not less emotive or less your opinion. At university, you need to use academic language usually when you're writing an essay. Okay, to express what you would like to say exactly. Yeah, often you need to choose your words carefully when you're writing an essay because they are clearer in meaning. Okay, or they have a more precise meaning than words you would use when you're speaking. Make your writing more logical and effective. Yeah, often you need, in academic writing, you need clear logical signals to tell the reader your first idea, your next idea, third idea, and also the cause and effect relationships between the words. Okay, so yeah, it can make it more logical. To avoid being rude, okay, yeah. So yeah, casual language might seem, really it's just about it not being appropriate to the situation. Okay. Good. Yeah, so if you're writing an IELTS essay, any sort of form, like there are usually two parts to the IELTS, one where you're describing a graph or something like that for the first writing activity, and the second writing activity is an essay. So yeah, if you're writing an essay, just assume that you're using formal language or academic register. Okay, but the other reason, so today I didn't get you to write, we looked at someone else's writing and tried to fix that, but hopefully for you guys in the future, you'll be able to look at your own writing. So maybe you've just finished writing an essay and you have some time left over. It's good to go back and read through your essay and try to improve it. So look at the vocabulary you're using. Is it suitable for academic register? Okay. So yes, we've covered the differences between casual and academic writing. And we've looked at correcting the academic register in a piece of writing. So hopefully you can use this for self-correction. Okay. So thank you guys for your participation. So I hope you've learned something and had a good time too. Now, if you have questions, so if you'd like some more information, we have the international phone number here. So yeah, feel free to take a picture of the slide. And also we have the Language Center email here. So language.center@newcastle.edu.au. You can also connect with us on Facebook. So yeah, we've got a lot of things, great stuff we'd like to tell you about. So you can like and connect with the Language Center on Facebook, and that way you'll see it in your newsfeed. Okay. So yeah, if you're looking at doing a degree, if you don't meet the English proficiency requirements for direct entry into a UON degree, another option is to look at the UON ELICOS program. So I'm one of the ELICOS teachers, or English language teachers. We have intake every 5 weeks, and the next available intake would be the 20th of July. And it gives you a direct pathway into most of the degree programs at university. Okay. So, yes. So any questions or to find further information on degree options, visit the university website or email us. Okay. Thank you, guys. So we're coming towards the end. Does anyone have any questions? I might not be able to answer all questions because I'm a teacher, but if not, maybe Anne, if she's still here, could jump in.
I have a question.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the difference between academic paper and academic essay? As far as I remember, in my college, I wrote academic papers, which I needed to cite or just quote some books or some like academic articles. So do I need to do that in an essay as well?
It depends on the course. I mean, for an English language course, you probably wouldn't need to do that. And actually, essay writing isn't that common in a lot of university courses these days beyond the language program. It used to be that like your final exam would be an essay, but that has become less common. But yeah, now often it's a like, for example, a research report or a research paper that you need to do and submit. For that, you would need referencing. So yeah, referencing means you're saying where the idea comes from. So, you know, next to the sentence where you have that idea, you would have in brackets the author's family name and then their year of publication. So for, in the English language course, we have the research report. If you were writing your research report, you would need referencing. We also have oral presentations. So just like I just gave a presentation, you would have a presentation with slides, and you would need to reference any statistics or ideas on those slides. But if you're writing an essay for IELTS, you wouldn't need to do that. The essays that you would write in our English language course for the exam, you wouldn't need to include references. But if you were doing a course at university, you would need to ask your professor, if there is an essay in the course, ask them, do I need to include references here? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions, guys? No, we're all good.
Hi.
Yeah.
What is one way to improve the academic vocabulary?
Yeah, well, it requires a lot of vocabulary. So often this is a gradual approach. Like you have to improve your vocabulary gradually. It means reading a lot. And it also means understanding collocations. So what words usually go together, because some words might match the meaning, but they'll look a bit strange if you put them together with other words. So it's good to have a good dictionary with you. There are ones online now, like Oxford or Cambridge dictionaries. And when you enter a word, it will often tell you what the collocations are with that word. So what words usually go together with that word. So for example, if you looked up the word executive, it would tell you a common collocation is chief executive officer or something like that. So that way you can learn what words usually fit together and how to write naturally in English as well. But yeah, there are, in particular, when you search online, you could look for academic word list, okay? And a lot of textbooks will have an academic word list at the back if they're for teaching academic English. But you can also just find them online. You know, different universities publish academic word lists. I know RMIT, which is an Australian university, has one available online. Yeah, those are good ways of learning academic vocabulary. Okay. All right, guys, so we're at, no worries, Anchi. So it's 2:30, so I think we're going to be finishing up. So if there's nothing else, I'll end the meeting. Is that okay with everyone? All right, it was good meeting you all. Okay, and yeah, hopefully I hear from some of you later. All right, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.